Senhoras e senhores, a primeira reunião de mulheres parlamentares do P20 acontece no âmbito do P20 na cidade de Maceió, Alagoas, e antecede a reunião de cúpula do P20, que ocorrerá na capital do Brasil, Brasília, em novembro. Criado em 2020, o grupo do P20 é liderado pelos presidentes
led by the presidents of parliaments of G20. The group aims to involve the parliaments to strengthen the global collaboration and ensure the practical application of international meetings in member countries of the group of 20s. We please request you all to take your seats and turn off your phones or put them in silent mode. We wish you all welcome. And we start now the ceremony of the first women parliamentaries meeting of P20. This meeting is an opportunity to get together women, authorities, parliamentaries from countries of all regions, representatives of international organs, and women from other spaces of power to debate the role of women in P20 in building a violence-free country against women. A planet with a representativity in spaces of power and decision. The female empowerment for a fair, sustainable, and democratic world. We'd like to acknowledge and greet the following authorities present here at the stage of the ceremony, the opening ceremony of the first Women Parliamentaries meeting of P20. Mr. President of the House of Representatives of Brazil, Representative Arthur Leite. Governor of the State of Alagoas, Paulo Dantas. General Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Maria Laura da Rocha. Here, representing the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and Ambassador Mauro Vieira. And now, the General Coordinator of the first Women Parliamentaries meeting, Representative Benedita da Silva. The coordinator of the female group at the Senate, Senator Leila Barros. The State's Attorney at the House of Representatives for Females, Soraya Santos. The General Coordinator of the National Women Observatory in Politics, Representative Yandra Moura. The President of Advocacy of Women's Rights in the House of Representatives, Representative Ana Pimentel. The Mayor of the City of Maceió, Mr. João Henrique Caldas. Mrs. Maria Helena Gorese, Executive Secretary of the Ministry of Women. And now, we present the living heritage of Alagoas, Chaldo Pifi and his group for the national anthem. Besides Chaldo Pifi, we have Ireneu Nicásio in the accordion, Chechel at Zabumba, and Grandpa Edinho with the triangle. Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you all to, in a respectful position, watch the presentation of the Brazilian national anthem. We are pleased to thank the group of Chao do Pife for their presentation. I want to request the musicians to take their seats in the audience. This event, because of its importance and magnitude, wouldn't be possible without the support of many companies and entities that share the general vision of this initiative. We thank the following partners, sponsors of the first meeting of women: Apex Brazil, Caixa Econômica Federal, National Confederation of Agriculture, National Confederation of Trade, National Confederation of Transportation, COSAN, Evaldo Lodge Institute, the Municipality of Maceió, SEBRAE, Suzano, and UNICA, the Union of the Sugarcane and Bioenergy Industries. The House of Representatives would like to invite you all to watch the institutional video created for the first meeting of women from P20. The first meeting of women parliamentarians from the P20 will have representatives of over 30 parliaments from international organizations like the UN. It's a new event with Brazilian and foreign authorities from the G20. There will be discussed the fighting against hunger, poverty, and the participation of women in politics. First meeting of women parliamentaries from the Global Alliance in the 1st and 2nd of July in Maceió, Alagoas. Follow the full coverage with the Câmara dos Deputados channel and YouTube. Right now, we shall start the speeches from the authorities present and this opening ceremony. We'd like to invite first, and we pass the floor to Mr. President of the House of Representatives, Mr. Representative Arthur Leite. I would like to greet the authorities. They are part of this opening table and the opening of the first meeting of parliamentaries in P20. Ladies and gentlemen and other participants, ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to give you warm welcome to all the participants of this first P20 Women Parliamentaries meeting. This forum that congregates the presidents of parliaments from G20 existed for 10 years. This is the first time we put together to exclusively discuss issues that impact the participation of women in policies, in politics directly, also in the society at the national and world level. The idea of having this pioneer meeting was announced in the speech I made when I got from the Indian Parliament last year, the incumbency of chairing P20 throughout 2024. In coordination with the female group in the House of Representatives, and we have our coordinator, Mrs. Benedita da Silva, that's when this idea got crystallized and got a venue and date. The choice of Maceió, capital city of the state of Alagoas, known for its beautiful beaches and crystal clear waters and very white sand, is part of the correct strategy of the Brazilian presidency of G20 to display cities from different areas of the country, to offer foreign participants the opportunity to know the human and cultural diversity that characterizes our country, Brazil. Bringing this first P20 Women Parliamentary meeting to Maceió was also a way to pay a tribute to the women of Alagoas, who are strong, bold, determined, and resilient. Women like psychiatrist Nise da Silveira, who humanized the treatment of mental health in Brazil, causing a true revolution in this area. Almerinda Farias Gama, a black woman, feminist, lawyer, pioneer fighting for female votes in Brazil. Ana Lins, a hero that actively worked for the political reality in the 19th century, and also Lili Lages, physician and university professor, the first chair of a medical program in Brazil, and finally Marta Vieira, the greatest soccer player of all times, chosen by FIFA the best player in the world in 6 occasions. May these women teach us and inspire us in our jobs. Now, under the motto, Building a Fair World and a Sustainable Planet, we start 2 days of debates with exchange between the Brazilian and foreign groups in the agenda of P20 of this year. Climate change, sustainable development, social inclusion, and fighting hunger and poverty, and reform of global institutions. In the context of this meeting, these 3 axes will get specific formulations adapted to the profile of our meeting. The first axis approaches the topic women, climate justice, and environmental sustainability. The second discusses the promotion of equality and economic autonomy of women and overcoming racism. The third deals with the need of more women in politics to strengthen our democracy. We have the presidency of the 30 parliaments of all regions, represented a diversity of political models and worldviews. Also, in our meeting, we have representatives of international organizations like the Mercosur Parliament, the UN, and the Interparliamentary Union and UN Women. Also, an expressive amount of Brazilian representatives and senators. Ladies and gentlemen, we wish you to have other following meetings and make this meeting become an essential part and a permanent part of the P20 from now on. We will take the 10th summit to take place in Brazil in November of this year. The results of these debates, and I am sure they will be very profitous. The expressive adhesion of parliaments and international organisms that were invited makes us feel very hopeful that regarding the global commitment with the agenda we are going to discuss here. Ladies and gentlemen, environmental sustainability is intrinsically connected to gender equality. At first, because women, especially those in vulnerable situations, are the most affected by climate change. Second, because they play a key role in managing natural resources in their communities. And of course, they have a relevant knowledge about sustainable practices that can mitigate environmental impacts. There are many evidence that the female participation ahead of environmental administration can get very good results. Women-led projects in sustainable agriculture, renewable energies, and waste management have reached a great success in the world. Promoting environmental sustainability implies recognizing the role of women as agents of change and ensuring their active participation in spaces of power where solutions are debated and conceived for environmental sustainability. Another priority axis of this meeting proposes thinking about promotion of equality and economic autonomy of women and overcoming racism. The promotion of gender equality is key for the social economic development of nations. It is needed to implement public policies in all areas to assure more opportunities and more rights to women. And it also includes assuring conditions for economic equity, eliminate discrimination in the workplace, ensure equal salaries for same jobs, promote access to quality education, and opportunities for technical qualification for the female population. These are key initiatives that ensure income to women, create lines of access to microcredit, offer training and qualification program, foster female entrepreneurship. Only with economic independence, women can effectively have the freedom to be in the spaces they want to be in society. Tackling racism, it's crucial for gender equality. If racial prejudice limits access to education, health, and economic opportunities and good quality jobs, women from racial minorities have a double discrimination of gender and race. Ladies and gentlemen, gender equality is one of the goals of the Sustainable Development in the goals to be achieved until 2030. It is essential for the strengthening of democracy in any nation. The path for that passes through increasing the spaces occupied by women in politics. That's the topic of the third axis of this meeting. When women are in positions of power and leadership in a society, the barriers are overcome and other women are encouraged to follow their own path. Women present here in this meeting are an example of that. They change paradigms and they inspire other women to do the same. They make the representativities of their parliaments more representative, more diverse, richer, and more democratic. The benches of the parliaments are made up of 3,067 representatives and 840 senators. According to the Parliamentary Union, the world average of female representation in low chambers of parliaments or unicameral parliaments is 25%. But in the P20 parliaments, the average is 29%. This piece of data reflects the progress of these nations towards gender equality. The notable advancement of the women participation in Brazilian politics, including, this is our statement here, this is the legislation with more representatives and senators in the history of our parliament. but we can and we must do more so that we can increase this number. The Brazilian Parliament has sought measures that bring more inclusion and representative of women in politics. In the past years, we approved many projects and initiatives that are aligned with this goal. In 2021, we passed a law that changes the Brazilian code to make a crime the political violence against women. On that same year, we passed a law that changes the electoral law, the law of political parties, the election law, and the criminal code to assure measurements that would repress and fight this kind of violence. Brazil has a solid legal grounds to prohibit any acts that aim to embarrass, offend, or silence Brazilians or Brazilian women that will occupy or that already occupy places in politics. A law from 2009 foresees that political parties have to have at least 30% of candidacies with one of the genders. We are still adjusting this system of codes aiming to promote a balance in political representation. We passed in the House of Representatives last year a mini electoral reform so that we can coerce fraud in the use of the resources used to foster female candidates. Besides the law I already mentioned, we perfect the legislation that creates specific mechanisms to inhibit domestic and family violence against women. We added to the criminal legislation the crimes of sexual importunation and psychological violence against women. We transformed into law the fact that there must be equal salaries between men and women. We passed the protection program to promote menstrual health, a seal for companies that are friends of women, and other significant measures that will impact the Brazilians. The female bench of the House of Representatives, that makes me so proud, had, on behalf of those here, Benedita, Soraya, Andra, and all of those present here, Anna, they are really brave and they have an active and essential role in all these accomplishments. Advancing the agenda of women in power as the result of the efforts of this bench articulated through the Secretariat of Women, the State Attorney's Office of Women, and Observatory of Women in Politics, represented here by their coordinators that I mentioned, through the representatives Benedita da Silva, Soraya dos Santos, and Yandra Moura, respectively. The Secretariat of Women has a voice and a vote in the College of Leaders, indicating priority agendas in our House. The female bench, they have identical time of speech to those of political leaders of parties. Besides this structure supporting the female participation legislative, the House of Representatives counts on a permanent commission that advocate for women's rights, and they analyze, debate, and vote legislative initiatives in this area. We also have a series of parliamentary fronts for causes directly related to women's lives. Ladies and gentlemen, by ending these opening words, I want to reassure the importance of this meeting. With these partnerships, we are assuring to this first meeting the quality and the shine that it deserves, and that will sure deserve in the future, because here we have women parliamentaries from many countries of the world, and they will take to their parliaments the experience from this first, so that this is just the first of many others that will come. promoting female rights is a civilization step that must be given, must be taken. And only when all women have a voice, autonomy, safety, and opportunity to reach their full potential, that's when we'll have a fair, harmonious world as much as we want. Thank you all so much.
Now we will listen to Ms. Maria Elena Guade, the Executive Secretary of Women Ministry. Good morning. I would like to greet the President of the Chamber and the President of P20, the Governor of the State, and the Mayor. I would also like to greet the Minister Maria Laura, and I would like to greet all the authorities, international authorities that are here, and the ones who are not here present but that they are listening to us online. And to our dear Benedita and all the women in this bench and in the plenary. As President Arthur just said, that he received from India the role of being the president of P20. I have the privilege of leading the group of work of women empowerment that is the first time that is happening in this year. And I have the commitment this group of work has the commitment to enter, to debate the issue of economy regarding to equality with men. This group of work also follows the guidance that has 3 axes: climate change, overcoming racism, and leading roles. And it's very pivotal to talk about the parliaments are a space of debating, and they are privileged to debate all the ways of life and all the ways of living. So we also think that all the advices that we get from the parliamentary women, they should be added to the P20, because we need to walk in big steps so that women are in all spaces in equal conditions. The other issue is that we have many obstacles in the way, and we need to take them out, especially the ones who deal with violence and the ones who deal with access to politics and access to parliament. Our group of work, also following the guidance from the government, Brazilian government, is working in 3 axes. One of them is overcoming violence, especially the one that is fighting women, and is an issue that is present in every country, and misogyny is one of the types of violence that is an obstacle for women participation in politics. The second one is political and economic autonomy,
na nossa casa, na sociedade, também isso se torna obstáculo para a nossa participação.
Taking care of our homes in the society, it may also become an obstacle in our autonomy. And the third one is participation in climate justice. Women are very affected due to every natural disaster, but we also have solutions for that. These three topics, themes that we are putting forward, I want to ensure and I want to strengthen the same speech that Artulira just said, the importance not only of this group, but the importance of this historical moment. We need to take advantage of this moment in which we have space to say, to build, to decide. We want equality in all spaces, especially in the Parliament. I hope this is a decision that will come first in all others. So I agreed, I am thankful, and I am at your disposal to do whatever I can do for that to happen. Thank you so much. The mayor of the city of Maceió will have the place now. I would like, in a special way, to greet to President Artulira, and I praise his work, this wonderful work, and it's a privilege to be the main center of the first event of Parliamentary Women of P20, such an important event for Alagoas, for our country, and for the world. I would like to greet Her Excellencies, the coordinators, the Representative Benedicta da Silva, the State Attorney Office, and I would like to greet all the women from the female bench and the National Congress. I would like to greet the Governor, Paulo Dantas, ladies and gentlemen, foreign representatives, international representatives, delegates, and all authorities. All collaborators that are here, be welcome to the Paradise of Waters. It's with a great privilege that we welcome you into this event, the first meeting, Women Parliamentary Meetings of P20. May our rich culture, our natural beauty, and our people give you a wonderful experience. Given the importance and relevance of this event, I cannot stop talking about our continuous efforts to implement public politics that promote the autonomy of women in Maceió. Since I started working as the mayor of this city, we have taken big leaps, creating the first Secretary of Women in Maceió, a wonderful idea that reassures our commitment to women. Also, we created the first entrepreneurship women project that was led by my wife. We are determined to face female violence, because we understand the link between. We launched the program renting to ensure that women that are victims of violence have a place to live and have a place to start their lives again. We also give priority to these women into the distribution of places to live. And we believe that it is an important role to build autonomy. We are also implementing the most important project of kindergarten places in the country. So we are giving this opportunity of kindergarten in a full-time period that allow mothers to work and study, and kids studying at the same time. This year, we are giving them 10,000 places. Our touristic area also plays an important role into our city. More than 50% of employment in this area are occupied by women. Enjoy our views, enjoy the warmth of our people, and I wish you a productive event and a week full of debates, good debates. This is undoubtedly a wonderful opportunity to promote events and rights and to build a better life for women. Thank you so much, and be all welcome.
Now I want to pass the floor to the President of the House of Representatives, Chamber of Defense of Women, Mrs. Gustavo. Good morning, everyone. I want to greet all authorities through the President of our House and our Women's Secretary, Benedita da Silva. We are living a historical moment, and I would like to start by saying how important it is for us to get together, representatives and senators, to debate and build a more sustainable world. The year Brazil takes over the presidency of G20, and the President of the House of Representatives, Mr. Arthur Leite, takes the leadership of the group of parliamentarians. I want to greet him for his efforts of putting the women's agenda at the center of political debate in our country, G20, and the world, echoing what women have stated. Feminist women from different territories, from cities, from the farms, ribeirinhas, quilombolas, indigenous. It is possible to build a new world, one that puts the defense of environment, the respect to women's bodies and lives, and the responsibility of the care, producing a fair and dignified life to all women. And we know women have advocated for a sustainable and fair project. Women have insisted in another project development. So far, history has shown that women are right. All over the world, this current project of development that is sustained in the sexual division of work, austerity, and the predatory exploitation of the environment has produced diseases, hunger, and death of women. The sex division of work that is the basis for the current model of development puts a burden on women. Women dedicate around 10 more hours of work in terms of labor compared to men. The austerity politics have increased the difference between rich and poor, and have caused women to become poorer all over the world. Environmental crimes have increased the violent events and have affected women directly with the problems at home, income, with children. And this model didn't work, and we are here to state that another world is possible. Climate justice will be possible with sustainable development projects, distributing economic resources, equally defending the environment, the body of women, and democracy. That's why under the successful lead of the Brazilian government in G20, we have the opportunity, and I want to greet Mr. Arthur Lira when taking the lead of G20 to promote this meeting where we can bring the importance of women and women's debate all over the world in the core as a perspective to build a true climate justice and a project of development that puts women at the core. I wish you all a great meeting, and the accumulation of our debates may influence the policies of G20 countries to build a true equality between women and men. Now I want to pass the floor to the General Coordinator of the National Women's Observatory in Politics from the House of Representatives, Mrs. Iandra Moura. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am honored to welcome you in this first meeting of women parliamentarians in G20. It's the opportunity to show the world how important our parliaments consider the gender issue and the fight for equality in all areas. And I want to thank, on behalf of the Women's Secretariat, our President Arthur Lira, who is in charge of chairing this meeting, and also for giving me the opportunity to work with him in its coordination. Through him, I want to greet all of those that are part of this opening ceremony. Last year, I took the honorable mission of being the first elected representative to coordinate the works of the Women Observatory in Politics, and this structure is part of the Secretariat of Women since 2021. With my brilliant colleagues, Soraya Santos and Benedita da Silva, and our adjunct colleagues, I have the privilege in my first mandate to have a chair in this unique organ that was created in 2013, and besides the observatory, congregates the female bench and the Women's States Attorney Office, Federal Attorney's Office. I believe that having this structure inside of the House of Representatives that is fully dedicated to women's interests and support of legislation for women in a political scenario that is extremely diverse and makes it a landmark in politics made by women and for women. We did not have so far records of other parliaments in the world with such a similar structure, and besides, the creation of the observatory confirms the commitment of the House of Representatives with fostering of researches that try to understand the roots of underrepresentation of women in politics, and from systematic data we can elaborate more efficient public policies to face inequalities that pass through women in national politics. Brazil, unfortunately, today is really not good in terms of political terms. We are below the world average and regional average of women in parliament. I myself was the first woman to be elected federal representative by my state of Sergipe, but knowing that there is an organ like the Secretariat that follows closely everything that the observatorian does to face this scenario of inequality makes more optimistic about the future that awaits for us. We are part now of the largest bench in the House of Representatives with more black women in our legislative ever. And a lot of these positive results are a consequence of my colleagues' work and the work they have done lately to make more effective affirmative politics that will increase our chances of being here. If now we have better access to funding in our campaigns and to more effective mechanisms to denounce the political violence we face every day, we do owe a lot to women's policies and building public policies based on evidence sustained by the observatory. Today and tomorrow in this important meeting, you will have a great opportunity to exchange experiences and make partnerships that will help outline a more promising future for the representation of women in policy. Count on me and with the work of the Secretary of Women. Thank you. And women children and women here expect a future of justice, equality, and the opportunity to dream high. Thank you so much, and may you all have a great meeting. Now we want to pass the floor to the federal attorney in the House of Representatives, Ms. Soraya Santos. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you all in this first meeting of P20. I want to start by greeting and at the same time congratulating the representative or leader for his initiative. We cannot think of discussing public policies without having a female outlook and think that we'll have social justice or equal rights without the outlook of men and women in building that. Yeah, the G20 really wanted from building the parliamentaries meetings that we had a specific arm to try to understand, Mr. Leite, why it is so hard for women to be in those spaces, why such a violence. And you, as chair and organizer of this meeting, brought a landmark, bringing this meeting to Brazil, and it's really dignifying for us. And you brought to Brazil this meeting on a day that is the day after we celebrate the day of parliamentarism, because without the parliament, we cannot induce or support any type of development, and you bring the arm of female thought on all topics. I'm really proud, really grateful to you, and that's why I want to greet you. And through you, I want to greet all the two chambers of Brazil, the House of Representatives and the Senate, and all representatives and senators. Thank you. I also want to greet our hosts, our governor here of the state, our mayor, and I want to say, HC, that when we speak about the Secretary of Women Policy, that there is no possibility of thinking of coordinations. We have to understand that a manager, when they create this kind of structure, they define the importance it is that this topic that represents over 50% of the female population, that they won't be sending messages. It's like the manager said, this topic is on me. I'm even happier because the focus of the secretariat here in Maceió is not just social assistance. The number one goal is economic autonomy of women, because dignified is a woman that can put food on their tables and are healthy. I want to greet Benedita da Silva, our leader of the female caucus, and Secretary of Women by three pillars, three structures: Benedita da Silva, our leader, Yanda, our coordinator of the observatorian, and me in the attorney's office. And we have our deputies that represent the entire caucus, and I want to greet the representatives through Grace Elias, Maria Rosa, Ana Ortiz, Ione, and I want to greet the entire foreign delegation. Three presidents, Marcela Guerra from Mexico. We are here with Selmira Sacramento, the President of the House of Representatives of São Tomé and Prince, and Famila Martins, the Parliament of Mercosul. Three women chairing this organs. We want to invite the parliamentaries of all these countries to discuss climate justice, sustainable development, increasing female representativity, fighting inequality, promoting economy. And we understand that this exchange of experiences facilitate things because they show us successful paths. We all know the female force when we get together for a cause. And all men know that when women want, women get it. We have to exchange experiences, opening ways, and fighting for the country we want, in the global moment we want. If we want less inequality, we sure have to be working shoulder on shoulder, side by side. When we speak of democracy, we all need to look at the difficulties of a female representation in these spaces of power. What is this democracy that we don't see ourselves represented in those spaces? When we speak and bring the democratic flag, we have to make this reflection. The topics chosen here were thought by us with this outlook to common difficulties that we face in Parliament. The debates in P20 will subsidize relevant topics for G20, where we have to take a stand in issues that affect us as women. I have to care for the correct law enforcement and ensure the rights of women all over the country, supervising the legislative. Brazil is a continental country. We have over 5,000 municipalities. We parliamentaries have to make laws, look for resources to implement the necessary measures, and the commitment to ensure that the law is enforced for all Brazilians. The Federal Attorney's Office in the House of Representatives is working in a network to take the rights to these women in all municipalities so that from the knowledge they can exercise their citizenship in full. Benedita, Yandra, and I and our deputy representatives inside the Secretariat, we are committed to work in different fronts to increase the female presence in instances of power. In a partnership with the executive and the judiciary, we in the legislative are establishing many protocols. Because it doesn't matter what power is responsible for that action. What matters for the citizens is that justice is made. And this is a commitment of the Secretariat in this joint work with the other three powers, showing that even though they are independent, it's interdependency that makes justice get to the very end. We have advocated for a sensitive budget considering gender, to protocols, budget, and building a network of attorneys' offices all over Brazil. I believe and I defend joint efforts and technology are elements that bring us together. With this meeting, I hope that all of you are able to be part of our network in defense of women, sharing experiences and sharing results. As International Women's Day, work as a civil day to reflect upon the advancement and the path we still have to go for the full exercise of citizenship by women. I want and I hope that in this meeting today, this is a new landmark. With this network and the strengthening of women in politics, we are going to build a world where human rights are strengthened because there's more gender equality and the consequence is the possibility of building a truly fair society. We want to learn from your trajectories and share with our own trajectories. And here we can strengthen and formalize a global action for more women to take these spaces of power and spaces in politics. Women in power is not a right. It is a need for each country that truly wants to face this inequality. The country that wants to fight for dignity of the human beings. Women that are going to work together from their countries so we can enjoy all technological tools that approach us. And we need to make a reflection. We never ever had so much access, and we are never being so alone, and only women can turn this game, getting together, using technology, designing new paths, sharing experiences so that this inequality is full all over the globe. We work together from our countries because I'm sure that together we will make history. Thank you.
Now we will give the floor to the coordinator of the female caucus in the Federal Senate, Senator Leila Barros. I greet everyone here, present here in Maceió, and I also greet His Excellency the Representative Artur Lira, President of the House of Representatives, the Governor of the State, Paulo Dantas, João Henrique Caldas, the Mayor of Maceió, the Ambassador Maria Laura, Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Ministry, Benedita da Silva, representative in the House of Representatives, and the Representative Zoraida, the State Attorney in the Chamber. And on our behalf, also the representative of Ministry of Women. I also greet all our colleagues from the Parliament in Brazil, and I also greet the two senators that are here with me, Senator Zoraida from the female caucus and Senator Darinha Seado. Both are here with me in this important event. All the collaborators and parliamentary from other nations. All our greetings and our happiness are with you for having such a big representativeness in this wonderful event. And I want to thank especially the House of Representatives for making possible this historical event, because they recognize the important representativeness of women. I greet all the parliamentary women that came from all over the globe. Your presence here and your experience here are making this meeting richer, and we will have the opportunity to debate daily problems that we face every day in our planet. It's with a great privilege that I participate in the opening of this event in Maceió, representing the female caucus in the Senate, Brazilian Senate, and I'm very happy for being back to Maceió, one of the most wonderful capitals of our country, and you have the opportunity to live here. The people of Maceió is a happy people, and we have an urgent need, the need to accelerate gender equality and to empower women and girls. Poverty, inequality, discrimination, they affect in a great proportion women all over the globe. I consider that this event is more than a meeting for leaders. This meeting is a calling for us to build a future where equity, gender equity is a reality. It's not only a hope. The search for gender equality is a search for justice and for the right of every woman to live fully without being scared and without borders. When having the presidency of P20, Brazil is in the commitment of putting women in the center of global solutions, and we have the responsibility to face great challenges nowadays, trying to understand them and looking for answers, and mostly solutions. The motto of this event, building a fair world and a sustainable planet, is in accordance with this mission. And it is inside the priorities of Brazil and the presidency of P20. Overcoming poverty and gender equality. In this meeting, we have the opportunity, the unique opportunity, to widen the participation of women in the debates that are nowadays in the world. P20 needs to have among its aspirations the promotion of gender equality and women empowerment in all the areas of the society, economical and political. We also need to widen the fighting to women violence that sadly is inflicting so much pain in all our countries, especially Brazil and others. This is a very important spot to implement policies that fight gender inequalities and to promote equal opportunities for women. We know that during these 2 days, we'll have the opportunity to debate all these topics. And I am highlighting the ones that are more important for me. The economical participation of women is super important for the sustainability. So we need to start working on policies to promote women entrepreneurship, leadership, and equal salaries. When talking about education of women, we need to give full access and full opportunities of professional development. Women need to be educated to face challenges, especially the ones they are going to face in the global market. Another important point is the health and well-being of women. We need to reinforce the policies that address the main needs of women, especially reproductive health, access to quality health, and fighting gender violence. The politic empowerment of women must be a priority in our societies. They should be represented in all levels of leadership and government, especially when creating public politics. Also, the technological inclusion of women. We need to guarantee that women have access to technological skills, informational skills, and communication skills. In this environmental crisis time, we need to remember the promotion of climate justice and sustainable development. It's super important that this society understands the importance of including and considering women when talking about climate change and promoting climate sustainability. Most populations that are affected by climate change. P20 is also an event to share the best practices that the member countries of G20 are applying, and to monitor the progress when talking about gender equality. P20 will have the opportunity to contribute in order to enhance the conditions of women in the society as a whole. I really hope that we have an excellent event, share practices, and that we work on benefit of all women in the world. I'm very, very curious about listening to all the ladies from the different places. It's an excellent opportunity to get to know each other better and to take advantage of our practices. May our actions be a source of inspiration for women and men to fight for equality. Thank you so much. We invite now to Mrs. the Ambassador Maria Laura da Rocha, Secretary of Foreign Affairs. Mr. President of the House of Representatives, Arthur Lira, I also greet all the authorities, parliamentary here today. It's with great honor that I am participating in the first Women Parliamentary P20. The presidency of Brazil in P20 is trying to address the women leadership Our debate in the work groups will be pivotal. Since the beginning, the Presidency is trying to promote a bigger interaction among the youth group, parliamentary, scientists, entrepreneurs, and vulnerable groups, with the main two groups of G20. Next Wednesday in Rio de Janeiro, these contributions will be presented as a first thing in the history of G20. We will also organize the G20 Social, an event that is designed to give voice to the society, civil society. Brazil adopted 3 axes as a priority. We need to start talking about gender inequality when speaking of work and employment. We also need to address the demands of the whole world population. We'll consider the impacts of climate crisis on women. We cannot exclude women of generating social ideas. The democratization of in all the areas of decision, in the global area and in the domestic area, in the public and private sector. G20 is the political and economical forum that can influence better the international agenda. It has an important position in fighting women violence.
Until 2025, from next year on, we hope to have a better salary equality, and it still needs to be debated in 2023 during the Indian presidency of the group. G20 countries agreed on creating a working group for women empowerment. Brazil had the honor and responsibility of organizing the first working group meeting and propose the themes that were already mentioned here. In the working group on trade and investment, the participation of women in international trade is one of the priority topics of this discussion. Brazil is one of the few countries with a diagnosis about it. We need to share experiences and methodologies and statistics developed to quantify women participation in this area, as well as ways to estimate impact of commercial deals through the optics of gender. The working group on jobs has in promotion diversity in the world of labor one of its 4 priorities, considering the advancements in reducing the disparity from 2025. The working group recognizes it's a challenge for many countries, and it aims to identify measures that will contribute to ensure equal opportunities. The working group on research and innovation has highlighted the need to implement the participation of women in sciences, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and break gender barriers, especially in the more advanced stages. Among the products, I want to highlight the creation of a platform to monitor equity policies in digital economy. G20 has debated the inequality to access digital resources, including gender. The Task Force Against Poverty and Hunger is working designing a global alliance against hunger based on the 3 fundamental pillars. There are the national commitments and the public policies with effectiveness tested, mobilization of internal and external resources to fund these policies, and the dissemination of good practices and encouragement of the South-South cooperation. Many income transfer programs to fight hunger that are efficient and have the woman in the center as being the one responsible to receive the funds and apply the resources for the family. Economic empowerment and inclusion of women are knowingly fundamental elements for the efficacy of these programs. The Brazilian presidency of G20 has received the support from delegations of all the countries in discussing how to tackle gender inequality. And it shows that our cultural particularities and political organizations shall not be an obstacle in the agenda of promotion of gender equality in many different areas. International cooperation, especially in forums like G20, is key to share good practices, to learn from the experiences of other countries, and to promote global policies that will benefit all women. By greeting the President of the House of Representatives for this initiative, I want to express my desire that the debates are guided by the minimum consensus already achieved, especially the recognition of the principle of equality between men and women in the founding letter of the United Nations and in many of our constitutional letters. Thank you so much. May you all have a great event.
We will give the floor now to the Mr. Governor of the State, Paulo Dantas, Governor of the State of Alagoas. Good morning, everyone. It is an honor to participate of this meeting, this event, where we have women, extraordinary women, who work on innovation, smart, that fight every day to promote projects that are important for our societies, for our population. I want to congratulate the President of the House of Representatives for the first meeting that was brought to our capital, Maceió, this wonderful land. Congratulations, Arthur, on your work. Congratulations for bringing good practices to our state. I also would like to congratulate the Mayor, João Ricardo, and I would like to tell you that you count on the government of Alagoas so that we can work together in order to have an environment that is good to strengthen political practices for women and people who need it. I will also like to greet Deputy Snardo Bulloes, the Senator Yandra Mora, the Representative Maria, the Executive Secretary of Women Minister Maria Elena, our state representatives, Cibele Moura, Carla Dantas, Fatima, Rosa Davino, and Gabi Gonçalves. Thank you so much for you to elevate the discussion of the government of Alagoas and for being part of this history, a history that promotes politics and public services of quality to the population in our state. I would like to greet the Ambassador, Maria Laura da Rocha, our Representative, Bredita da Silva, our Senator and Coordinator of the Female Caucus, Leila Barros, and our State Secretaries. You are so many, so forgive me if I forget any of you. Maria Silva, Renata Silva. These are women, extraordinary women, that lead public politics, good projects, and actions from the government of Alagoas. Here we have the most women that are leading the government of Alagoas. It's the only state in history, in Brazilian history, that most representative are women. We have 61% of women in our politics. And I can assure you that when we have more women involved in politics, we will have more politics for women, more policies. The state of Alagoas will be known as a state of extraordinary women, and we are doing that now. Our government is divided into 3 axes: human, economic development, and the preservation of environment. And these extraordinary women that I just talked to you about, they promoted results, new results in 2023. We were the state in the northeast area with the biggest growth, economic growth in last year. So more than the average of the area. We are also the state with more employment in the area. And when we bring these indicators to the national average, we are in 4th in the PIB and 5th in the employment generation. We have a group of specialists listening to research, to science. And we are given the best scenarios and possibilities to make the best decisions. And I'm very proud to tell you that our government is the first government to create the Secretary of the First Childhood. And is the opportunity to promote solid policies for our kids from 0 to 6 years old in order to enhance all their full intellectual and social capability, skills. And it is based into 3 areas. health, education, and economy. We have the biggest, we have Cartão Cria. It's a program that transfers 150 reais to women during all month. That's very important. We are also building 200 new kindergarten places. I already gave 60 new kindergartners. And we are also generating employment for the people who work in education. Last year, when talking about the construction of kindergarten all over Brazil, we were the state with more kindergarten places. And we will continue in this project. Because I believe that education is able to change the life of people, and people, through education, have the opportunity to change cities and to change countries. Besides, we will also coordinate in the area of public health, a system that works collaboratively with all the municipalities of the state of Alagoas. We work with efficiency and concern to have a national project that brings results, good results, extraordinary for our kids. We also built the Hospital of Women and Hospital of Kids, and I also invite you to participate in August of a new hospital that we will be inaugurating. It is located in the fourth most important municipality of the state, the hospital in Palmeira dos Índios, a hospital that will assess people in the region. We will also inaugurate the Metropolitan Hospital in Arapiraca and the Hospital of Elder People in Maceió. It's an honor to work with politics, with ethics, respecting different opinions. Nobody is forced to be in agreement with me. Nobody is forced with anybody's opinion. That's why we need to respect everybody. And we are living nowadays in a country that is divided. But I am sure that being mature enough and respecting democracy and strengthen the federative covenant, we will have the opportunity to live in a respectful way so that we have the best terms and the best conditions for our state, for our country to be developed. We have a state with 3.3 million of inhabitants, 150 kilometers only of beaches, and we have to take advantage of our potential to promote things that are good, that can improve people's life. Last year we were the state that took more people out of poverty. It's such an important job that counts with the support and collaboration of everybody. I went to the Lisbon summit, and I had the opportunity to participate on conferences of climate justice, climate change. And I said that we cannot admit negationism in the construction of policies and public projects. We need to be based on evidences and data, listening to specialists on the field and respecting science. I'm sure that in this path, we will have a more productive country, more efficient, because we want to have the opportunity to invest. We want our state, our capital, to have more opportunities to invest, so that more people are out of poverty, to promote legal safety, and to have a government of a high level that will allow us to bring confidence, to bring responsibility, so that our state can continue to develop. We were also the state that invested with its own resources. And do you know why we were able to do that? Because we have Secretary Renata dos Santos that is here from the public university, and that is taking this position, that is occupying this position due to her merits. We were in the best average of getting taxes. And we are raising the income. The companies are coming, and the resources are being given to collaborators, so that the wheel is spinning. And I am going to conclude by saying that I'm very happy. I've been very happy during this last month. I went to London. I didn't go alone. I took 50 students from the public education with a program that is called From Here to the World, where the government of Alagoas gave all the conditions for our students to learn another language, English. When a citizen is able to speak 2 or more languages, the salary that he or she will get is bigger than the one who has only one language, more than 60%. And with that spirit of transparency and responsibility, we will make this state to be a reference of good practices and good projects and good policies that allow everybody to get better. Thank you so much. Be welcome, and it's an honor to work with you.
Right now, we are going to listen to the General Coordinator of the first P20 Women Parliamentaries meeting, the Representative Benedita da Silva. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't have my phone here, so good morning, good afternoon. Right now, I want to greet our Executive Secretary of the Ministry of Women from Ministry SIDA. I want to greet the President of the Women's Committee in the House of Representatives, Governor, our Ministry, the Mayor, our Senator, our Attorney, our dear person from the observatory, and I want to greet all other authorities, my deputies, the parliamentaries, and all public servants from the Women's Secretariat, through the President Leite, because he is the one with this initiative. And of course, we have to welcome everyone through this initiative. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor for the Brazilian Parliament to have you here in this pioneer event where we women are ahead of dialogue on us and for us. Please feel very, very welcome to this moment. Once again, through our dear President of the House of Representatives, Mr. Leite, to greet all of those that are. And here I want to invite our international guests that are probably following it here. And within my deep emotion, I know I want to bring an extra line to my statement and draw your attention to the fact that it was the most important initiative in this semester for us at the Secretariat of Women, having on President Leite, the President of P20, President of the House of Representatives, and have this initiative to bring to Brazil right now, where different topics are debated and discussed, and that Brazil is a great international reference in the debates and in G20. It's important that we treasure this moment. It's such an important moment for us, Brazilian women in the parliament. We have a great contribution to give, even though we have to listen to other countries and the parliamentaries of other countries, but we have something that is extremely important. It is the first ever P20 meeting, and we know how important to have members of parliaments to be on debates, to be in G20 discussions, so we can there follow the agreements that are made and the policies that have reached most of the women in the world. So we have the privilege right now to start this debate, have this discussion, and at the same time, we are sharing it with other members of parliament, female parliamentaries from other countries, as there are countries in G20 have a greater representation in parliament in terms of women participants. And our President Leite, with a great political skill, was able to bring this debate to our dear country, Brazil. I feel deeply thankful and thrilled for being with the women, representing other women here in Brazil. And when these women got in power, they took a great responsibility with the democratic future of the planet. Brazil, by hosting this meeting, is unquestionably in the center of a gender debate, with an special attention to the increase of women representation in spaces of power and in spaces of decision making. Also dealing with issues that we consider global and important, like the environment, economy, care policies. And we as women, we still have to fight many battles to have a fair representation. Many hurdles were overcome. In the case of Brazil, one of the initiatives that allowed us to have a series of advancements in the gender agenda was the creation, as I mentioned, and as my colleague mentions, the creation of the Secretariat of Women in the House of Representatives, where I am the coordinator of the female caucus since last year, with the federal attorneys and the observatory. The Secretariat of Women is a key body for the Brazilian Parliament to develop their key functions. In there, we legislate, we supervise violations of rights that are already ensured, and we work politically to defend them. Also, we foster research that brings us the data we need to subsidize consistently our work in gender agendas. Not to mention that the creation of the Secretariat of Women inspired the creation of the Federal Attorney's Office of Women in the Senate. We fought for this in the Brazilian Parliament because we are sure that we in politics can change politics. We are even more sure that women in politics, and see what I said, women, plural, we transform a whole society. When we get to power together, we do what we do best. That is facing inequality, violations of rights, support policies for specificities, and the needs of the female universe in order to build the fair and desired equality. We don't want to be, and we won't be less. And this meeting is key, so we can start a global movement to strengthen us and protect our rights that are already ensured as parliamentary women. We have to challenge stereotypes, fight for equality, to shape the future, and work together for a fair, equal, and sustainable country. We cannot go back. We have to grow. We have to treasure the efforts of all of those that came before us and opened up ways for us to be here today. I want to finish by thanking your presence here this morning, and I want to make a request for the younger women that are coming here now that listen to us. We need you to take this mission with us and continue this work. I see a lot of young people in the parliament today. I see a lot of people, young people, still in spaces in the executive, but we want to ensure equity. We want to ensure parity. We want to face this battle, this fight. In a world where we see we are the majority of the population, this is what we'll be talking about. That's how we are going to present ourselves in our meetings in the afternoon, in our topics. And surely they won't surprise us because they know we have quality and competency. They made us partners because they know our virtues and our qualities. Right, President Lira? Yeah. That's why I want to welcome you all. Have a great day of work and have a great meeting. Thank you. The House of Representatives want to thank all foreign Brazilian authorities present here. And again, we want to thank the sponsor partners of this event. Apex Brazil, Caixa Econômica Federal Bank, National Confederation of Agriculture, National Confederation of Trade, National Confederation of Transportation, COSAN, Evaldo Lodge Institute, the Municipality of Maceió, Sebrae, Suzano, and Unica, the Union of Sugarcane and Bioenergy Industry. And right now we want to invite Criança Cidadã Orchestra for a brief presentation. The orchestra is a social project managed by Criança Cidadã, based in Recife, Pernambuco. Today, it's represented by the children. Jamile in violin 1, Jessica violin 2, Leticia in the guitar, Caliandra in the cello, and Marjorie in the bass. They'll be presenting important pieces of the Brazilian music, like Asa Branca, Lamento Sertanejo, Prelude da Baquiana número 4, No Reino da Pedra Verde, and a Pupurri of Chate. We request you all to keep your phones in silent mode, and we wish you all a great show. We kindly ask you to return your headsets when you leave this auditorium.
Agradecemos a apresentação da Orquestra
We
Criança
thank
Cidadã.
Criança Cidadã for their
Senhoras e senhores,
presentation.
solicitamos a todas e todos que permaneçam em seus assentos para, em primeiro lugar, saírem as autoridades que compõem o dispositivo de honra no palco do teatro.
The end of this ceremony, we want to ask you for your collaboration that is needed for the safety of everyone and the good continuation of works. And once again, we ask you to return the headsets when you leave this auditorium.
Neste momento, declaro desfeita a mesa de honra desta solenidade e convidamos a todas
We would like to invite everyone to go to the central pavilion of the exhibit, where we will start soon the opening ceremony of the exhibit Women in Power. This exhibit is made up by the House of Representatives and part of this first Women in Parliament meeting of the P20. So this session is adjourned. Thank you.